Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Relationship School's Smart Couple Podcast. How are you? What is the word today? I'm Jason Gaddis, your host, and I'm grateful to be here. This podcast is for people who want to grow and develop themselves in the context of relationship. You come here because you're in pain or longing about love and connection, distance, fighting, disagreements, your own frustrations with yourself or someone else in your life. And even though this podcast is all about long-term relationships, because that's the hardest one, we talk about friendships, we talk about working relationships, we talk about family relationships. And we'll be talking about those a lot more in the future. All right. Welcome back, everybody. If you've been a listener, thank you. And thanks for your reviews on iTunes, as always. Super cool that you guys take the time to give us your 5-star reviews. Seems like most people are doing that. And I just want to acknowledge those of you who are doing that again. Again, very grateful. It helps us move up the ranks and, reach more people, which is our goal. We want to reach more and more people. And I wanted to do a little shout out to Expanding Heart on iTunes here. Expanding Heart says, "It's deeply affirming to find a community of people who believe in the value and work of intimate relationships. I so appreciate this resource and the tools I'm acquiring from the collective wisdom shared so freely here. I don't know yet if my partner is willing to dive into this with me, but even if I dive in alone, I know I'll be richer and better equipped to create the kind of relationships and world I want to live in." Boom, right? Thank you for the courage to share your beautiful hearts with us, Ellen and Jason. You're so welcome, Expanding Heart. Can I feel my heart expanding right now? Seriously, thank you. Appreciation is something that we aren't very good at in this culture. We're pretty good at compliments, but not great at appreciation. Like looking in someone's eyes and saying, "I appreciate you, and here's why." So try that next time you're with a close friend, okay? So anyway, you can leave us a review on iTunes as well on your phone. It's pretty straightforward. On Stitcher, pretty straightforward. Please do that if you feel inspired, if you've been getting value here. And thanks again. Okay, this episode, before I get into this episode, I want to rehash briefly in no time, the series on men. So I just want to thank everybody for your feedback, your comments on Facebook, on Instagram, and through email about the series we did on men, for men, by men. It was just a little slice. We'll come back in and do another series like that. And why are we doing that for men? Because I think men are very misunderstood relationally. And when you understand a man and what his history is and what his conditioning is, you can be a little more empathetic towards why men are such assholes sometimes, and why we shut down and why we're emotionally distant, why we might act out sexually. So go back and listen to that whole series. It doesn't, again, I'm not letting anyone off the hook here and saying any egregious behavior is okay, but I am saying, look, human behavior is understandable when you understand a person and what they've been through in their life, all right? And you want to do that with your partner and your closest people. You want to understand where they come from. All right. Speaking of which, I want to talk today in a 2-part series here, maybe 3-part, but starting out 2-part, about coaching, relationship coaching specifically, okay? And this episode's about 3 signs you're dealing with bad relationship coaching. You've hired a relationship coach and it's probably not going to go well. All right. We, as you know, here at the Relationship School, we run a training center for people to become relationship coaches. And I've spent many, many years in the conversation of personal development and psychology, psychotherapy, coaching. And I'm creating what I think is the best relationship coaches training out there. And my students can speak to that if they want. But a lot of people get tripped up here. And if you're not sure what a coach is or what a coach does, please go back and listen to the difference between therapy and coaching, episode number 139. Okay, 139. Go to iTunes, punch in 139 if you want to learn the difference between therapy and coaching. All right. So listen to that, because there's very important differences. And I'm not going to review those here, but I am going to talk about relationship coaching. I want to encourage you to consider hiring a relationship coach, but how do you know who to hire and when and where and what? So let's just talk about bad relationship coaching for a minute. So number one is that the training they got was short and not deep. So I am shocked when I hear about coaches' trainings out there, and this is true for life coaching, business coaching. Anybody can kind of call themselves a coach now. So you want to look into your coach, your relationship coach, and just make sure they have training somewhere. And I'm going to argue that the shorter their training is, the less they'll be able to help you. So for example, I was talking to someone a couple of years back, and she was running a 8-week coaching program. You become a coach in 8 weeks, 2 months. And then I found another coach's training on online that was 4 weeks long. Become a coach and a certified coach in 4 weeks long online. I was like, what? So this is why coaching gets a bad rap, is because it can be a joke for some people, especially because you, listener, could call yourself a coach tomorrow, depending on where you live, and just start trying to help people, and you could charge them money. Now, because it's just not as regulated as therapy. Now, I don't recommend you do that. I recommend you get really solid training so that we can keep the integrity of the coaching industry high. I have benefited a ton from coaching. So what I know about coaching that's inadequate is just the training's inadequate in terms of length and depth. And it's about skills and techniques that someone read from a book and they created a training out of it, and they did not ask the person to examine themselves at all, which I'll talk about number 3. Okay, so number one sign that it's bad relationship coaching is the training is a few weeks or months long. Okay, number 2 is the relationship coach themselves is a mess with their relationship life and not working on it, which speaks to number 3, which is the relationship coach doesn't work on themselves by getting regular coaching for the rest of their lives on their own stuff, right? So for example, if some of you might have this fantasy that I'm just this really good guy at relationship. I'm just really good at relationships. And that's true. I'm pretty good at relationships, but I will never stop learning about the human condition and relationships. Had I climbed to the summit of relationship work and sat up there and just said, okay, I'm going to open a coaching practice now, and then never worked on myself again, my skills would atrophy over time, and my ability to understand myself would atrophy, and I would get kind of complacent. So I encourage you to really interview your relationship coach and say, cool, where'd you get your training? How long was it? How deep was it? And look, okay, go do your own homework. And then ask them questions about their own relationship life. Now, coaching is different than therapy in that coaches hopefully are going to be transparent. And you could say, how's your marriage? Are you married? Are you in a long-term relationship? What's the longest long-term relationship you've ever had? Where do you study relationships? And again, someone can be in a challenged marriage or divorced 3 times and still be a great relationship coach. The difference is between that person and a person who sucks at relationship coaching is the person who's good and has been divorced 3 times has a shit ton of experience, hard-won life experience to offer you, the client. They can be like, yeah, I've been divorced 3 times. It was rugged. And those 3 divorces pushed me to learning everything I could about relationships. And so I went to the relationship school. I studied here, blah, 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 or wherever they studied. All right. Remember, I was, failed pretty hard at relationships through my 20s, which is why I decided to go get a master's degree in relationships, basically, in psychology, okay, and how people work. Because I wanted to understand this stuff. I wanted to get better. I didn't like feeling like a disaster, all right? So a relationship coach that's good is on the path. They're figuring their shit out. They can be on the journey. They don't have to be on the summit, all right? I was helping lots of people with their relationships when mine was a mess. I was helping lots of people with their relationships as I was figuring mine out. All right. I'd get in a fight with my partner, and 5 minutes later, I'd be in a session with someone trying to help them. And it's like, oh shit. But that's what's so great about being a relationship coach is it keeps you accountable to stay very awake in this part of your life, because it feels like shit to be a fraud. All right. You feel shame, right? Embarrassment. Okay. So those are the 3 signs of bad relationship coaching. In the next episode, we'll talk about what good relationship coaching looks like and feels like and how to find one. All right. Okay. Again, thanks for listening. Oh, and here's a quick closing commercial from the Relationship School, our sponsor here, about our upcoming 9-month training, The Deep Psychology of Intimate Relationships, otherwise known as Deeper, DPIR. Okay, check it out. Have you guys wanted to improve your relationships but haven't found the right path? Like therapy doesn't cut it or whatever. Podcasts aren't enough. Have you wanted to build a deeper relationship with your partner, rebuild your relationship with an estranged parent, sibling, or child? Or have you just wanted to have more supportive friends who have your back and you can get real with anytime, anywhere? The Relationship School is currently accepting applications to join the Deep Psychology of Intimate Relationships 9-month training program. Okay, we've had over 80 people just like you graduate from this incredible life-altering, transforming program over the past couple of years. So go to relationshipschool.com/DPIR. All right. If you like the idea of partnering with me to improve how you show up in relationships forever and how to attract and draw in people at your level and you're growing into new level, the place you're going to be. Okay. So here's what a recent graduate said about Deeper. Check it out.
Before I did this, I didn't feel seen, heard, understood, met. I didn't feel loved in my intimate relationship. I mean, my partner and I, for decades, we were going around in circles with the blame game and the power struggle. And I thought, oh, there's got to be a better way. Now, after 9 months of inspiration, dedication, transformation, I feel free. I feel like I can be me. I feel ready to love completely. I'm so grateful for the Relationship School. I know anyone who tries it would be too.
All right, you heard it from Darlene. Go to relationshipschool.com/deeper to apply, and we'll see you in there. Hey, thanks so much for listening. Relationship School fans and Smart Couple listeners, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, all right? Do us a favor, subscribe, share one of these videos with a friend, all right? We want to help the planet get their act together around relationships, and you are one of them, so thank you.